Hello, I'm Daniel. I am going to read a section from The Method of No Method today, and I'm going to comment on that section. So, this could be a short one. We'll see. So, this one is called Direct Contemplation. Direct Contemplation. And here it is. In silent illumination, the silence is not chasing after momentary experiences. The illumination is being clearly aware of what is actually happening. Similarly, direct contemplation is contemplating the immediacy of whatever you sense. Directly experience and accept whatever confronts you without conceptualizing, naming, or judging. A painter develops ideas about the scene she is about to paint and how she wants to portray it. Hence, what she paints reveals how she feels about the subject. By contrast, direct contemplation is more like taking a photograph. The camera takes in everything with precision but without judgment, labeling, or emotion. In this sense, direct contemplation is like a camera accepting things just as they are. And I'm going to comment on those two areas because it goes somewhere else in the next section. But so that's what we're talking about. People hear words like the phrase silent illumination and they think it's some big, giant thing like magic, like miracles or something. I don't know what people think when they hear illumination, but it just means clarity. It just means seeing things as they are and seeing yourself as you are. Whereas direct contemplation, related but not the same technically, but direct contemplation is just when we put down our baggage and we put down our expectations and we just see what's really there. We just reflect. I've heard it described as He describes it as like a photograph. You take a photo and what's in the photo is what's there. Whereas if you paint, you're bringing your own skills as a painter and your own perception into it. But if you take a photo, you're just taking a photo of what's there. I've heard it described instead of that as like a mirror. And if you hold up a ball to a mirror, what you see in the mirror is just what the ball exactly looks like. Whereas if you look at it and describe it, well, it's going to be a little different. Or if you draw it, that's going to be a little different. But if you just reflect like a mirror, and that's how we want to perceive the world. We want to see everything clearly as it really is. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about putting down our baggage and our preconceived ideas so that when you see something, you just see that thing rather than what you expect. So, for example, if you get into a relationship and you expect it to go like your other relationships, you may look for clues that it's going that way, even if it's not. And that applies to relationships, but also like you may expect your job to do something your past job did or anything else, right? I have a friend who, he works in IT and he worked for a very shady company. And now he has trouble in jobs because because he discovered something wrong in that job, he looks for evidence of wrongdoing in all his jobs. And that is not helpful. And at times, if you look for something hard enough, you're going to find something that really makes you think your expectation is true, right? And it's the same with relationships, right? If you've been cheated on and you stick to an obsession with looking for evidence of disloyalty, you might see something as disloyal that's not. You might bring your baggage into it and really mess things up for yourself. But in any case, it's stealing your joy the whole time you're looking, right? So that's sort of what we're talking about here. And we have all sorts of baggage. And with our meditation practice, we start to see that clearly. Some of us are even carrying baggage. Most of us are carrying baggage from childhood, even, and we don't even realize it, right? I heard recently that your love language, like the love that really speaks to you, is the love that you were denied as a child. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that sort of exemplifies what we're talking about here. It's just that we're carrying all of the baggage from our entire life up to this point. Some people say we have multiple lifetimes and we're carrying even some baggage from before then. And I really like to use the word baggage for this, but it's really just what we're putting on the world with expectations, we filter our perception in the same way that if you have a bad day at work and then you get home and everything's annoying to you, well, you're carrying baggage from work, obviously, right? And who knows if you would have been annoyed or not if you weren't carrying that baggage. And that's what we're talking about. Direct contemplation is being with what is, without expectation, without comparing it to something else, without measuring or judging. And that is a very difficult thing to do. It is a very difficult thing to do. And especially, we judge people a lot, right? If somebody reminds us of someone else, we're going to think they're like that person. And if somebody is, say, wearing something with a political slogan on it, we're going to think we know things about that person, right? And it's not fair because we don't. But that is sort of what our brains do. And what we are training to do here with the method of no method, with the Chan practice of silent illumination, what we're training to do here is put that down and see things as they are. And that's not to say we shouldn't learn from our past and we shouldn't make judgments when we need to, but it's just that more than that is we should be aware when we're doing it because we do it unconsciously. We put baggage on things unconsciously. We have trust issues unconsciously. And sometimes we do it consciously as well, but a lot of the time we're just doing this. We're just seeing the world through a filter. And it's not accurate, and we sometimes make bad decisions because we're not seeing the world as it really is. We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. We see things as we are. And so in that way, our meditation practice helps us because it helps us see the world as it is. It helps us sort of cut away those things that are getting in the way of our seeing things clearly so we can make better decisions, so we can have a more full life. And so that's really what it's all about. We call it silent because we're sitting in silent and just observing how our minds work. And we call it illumination because things become clear to us. Things become clear to us. And this is the last paragraph that I will read to you, and then I'll comment on that. It's kind of a separate subject, but I also don't want to leave it out because it is something that I'd encourage you to do. When we do our walking meditation outdoors, we incorporate the practice of direct contemplation. If you can do it well, it can help your practice of silent illumination and vice versa. Walk with your eyes open as in regular walking. Do not add any ideas or emotions to your perceptions. Walk slowly or at a normal pace. Unlike regular walking meditation, do not focus on the movements or sensations of your feet. Open up all your senses without constraint and absorb everything that happens around you, without adding anything. Like the camera, just let everything in and experience it. This is how to practice direct contemplation. So, those are walking meditation instructions. That's very simple, right? And yes, a lot of times when people encourage walking meditation, they say, pay attention to your feet touching the ground. And that's not good or bad, but what he advocates is we should do walking meditation and we should just walk and just pay attention to everything that's happening. Just notice what's happening. Don't try to fix on anything, but rather just be aware of what's going on. And that's it. Those are very simple walking meditation instructions, but I would go into more depth because I do want to encourage you to try walking meditation. What I think I would like you to do, if you're willing, is you set a timer and you find a space you can walk on that's circular without a whole lot of things to distract you. And that can be very hard to do, I know. But if you have a room in your house, if you have a yard, places like that are great. If you have a room in your house without a lot of things in your way where you can just walk. And what I want to encourage you to do is set a timer for 7 minutes or so, or do whatever you want. Do 10, 12, 15, whatever you want. Don't let me stop you, but set a timer and start walking. And like he said, I like to do very slow, but either do a very slow walk or walk at normal speed. And just walk until the timer goes off. You can do something with your hands like this or this if you want to. I'm partial to walking like this. So it's kind of like I'm in a prayer thing, and just stand up straight and just walk around your path. Just walk around your path until the timer you have set goes off. And that's it. That would be an experience of walking meditation. That would give you a chance to do these practices in a bit of a different context. So that is it for today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and have a good day.